Hello everyone, Catweazle here, welcome to the channel and welcome back to our slightly delayed playthrough of Eldritch Horror and Cities in Ruin. Yes, I've been away for a couple of weeks to sunny Mallorca, had a great time, the weather was absolutely gorgeous, so were the mosquitoes who have taken rather a big bite out of me. So, but I don't think I've got malaria, I think I've got away with it. Right, anyway, so here we are back at Eldritch Horror and Cities in Ruin. Before I go into the actual turn, we've got a few bits and bobs to do. What we decided to do was we decided to keep the Antarctica gate. That means we need a monster. Hopefully not a bad one, because we are taking a bit of a gamble here. So let's pick one out from the bottom, and we get a ghast. It's actually got a green tentacle coming out of an egg symbol, which means we've got to do something with it. It's pretty horrific, so it's a will test -1. It's also a strength test -1. It has, you can lose a sanity or you can lose 2 health, and it's got a toughness of 2, so it's quite a nasty piece of work. When this monster is spawned, an investigator on this space immediately encounters it. Well, it doesn't, because we are down in Antarctica. So we'll just stick it on a stand. I'm not using my fancy stands, just for videoing purposes. They are a bit easier to see on these. So there we go, we've got a ghast in Antarctica. We've got no investigator down there, so we do not need to encounter it. Because we are keeping the gate and the ghast, that means we get a talent each. Dun, dun, dun. So I've got my boon and talent deck. The reason why the boons are in with talents is there are now talents that are also boons, which is annoying. But we shall get through it. So just give them a bit of a shuffle there and a cut. We'll pull them off the bottom. So we'll go in order. The order we've decided on is Ashcan Pete's going to go first, and his talent is going to be practiced. Very nice. So talent, once per round you may roll 1 additional die and re-roll up to 1 die when resolving a test. If you fail that test, flip this card. Well, that is pretty good. So Ashcan Pete is practiced. We'll put that on his player tray. Next up is Vincent Lee. What is Vincent Lee? Skullduggery is his talent. So as an action, he can test his observation +2. If you pass, you may gain 1 item or trinket asset from the reserve with a value equal to or less than your test result. Then flip this card. So, skullduggery, eh? I wouldn't have put it past good old Vincent, but you never know. So put that on his player tray, and his observation is 3, so that isn't a bad card for him. And after him, it is Bob Jenkins. What does he get? He gets visions. Ooh, dearie me. You may re-roll 1 die when resolving a law test. Once per round, when another investigator gains a non-common condition, you may look at the back of that card, then flip this card. I think this is very similar to... who is it? I can't remember her name. But one of the investigators has this. It's the psychic, isn't it? Jacqueline Pierce. Is it Jacqueline Pierce? The psychic, anyway, she has this. So we can re-roll 1 die when resolving a law test. So, pretty cool. He gets visions. And then we have Lily Chen, who is Stosh's character. Righteous, that's a boon. We want a talent, that's another boon, because it's righteous again. Martial prowess. Well, she's pretty martially prowess. She's got a lot of martial prowess as it is, Lily Chen, but hopefully this will help. When resolving a combat encounter, you may gain +3 strength during that encounter. If you do, flip this card before resolving the test. So, this could be very, very useful when she comes to kneeing monsters in the groin. So she's got martial prowess. Right, so that is all of our talents that we've gained. And we have a ghast with our gate on Antarctica, which is going to be pretty difficult to get to, but we'll see how we go on. Right, do that. They are all shuffled again. Put them into the card holder. Okie coke, so that's it. Just before I get into previously on Eldritch Horror, I'm just going to talk a little about my next playthrough. My next playthrough is going to be... Dun, 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 Gloom of Kilforth, which is a very funky game indeed. Now, the reason I'm mentioning it now is because there is actually a Kickstarter of this, the original game, but obviously it's been revised a little and it's got a few upgraded components. I've got in on the Kickstarter because I obviously want the, you know, the upgrades, and obviously there's some revised cards in it from the first edition. So I've gone in on that, but I'll be doing that next. So I've just thought I'd mention it now, because the Kickstarter will probably finish by the time I come to playing that. The reason I've had it quite a while actually, the reason I haven't played it is I've stopped playing new games immediately, because people think then that I'm an actual how to play channel, and I just get a load of hassle about like, oh, you're not playing the game right, oh, and all the rest of it. So I have held off on it, but I am going to do that next. So really looking forward to doing that, and as I say, it's on Kickstarter at the moment. Tristan, All or Nothing Productions guy, he's great. Great guy, he's on BGG a lot, and he makes some great games, and he's currently got quite a few in the pipeline. I think 1066 Tears for Many Mothers is in there. He's got a couple of other games that he's looking to actually put forward. And I believe this new Kickstarter as well may have a stretch goal or two for Gloom of Kilforth, whereby you get, as well as extra encounters and stuff like that, there may actually be an expansion if he gets enough money. So that's why I'm giving him a plug. Not because I get a free game or anything, because I don't. I pay for everything. But yes, the more people that actually join in the Kickstarter, the more chance I've got of getting expansions for the game. So there you go. That's the reason why I mention it. So I'll be doing that next, but we're not doing that now. What we're doing now is Eldritch Horror. So previously on Eldritch Horror, the dreams assailed Pete, tentacles writhing in the sky, sickly green and distorting reality. He awoke in the frigid train car where he had been staying, and he looked around for Duke. His hound raised his head to look at Pete, as if sensing something had happened. "Time to go, boy," he said, getting up to the sound of his creaking bones. "Something bad is coming, and people will need our help," he told the dog. Pete gathered his meagre belongings into his pack and made his way out of the train yard. North was where he was headed, colder, farther than he wanted to go, but that was where the dreams were taking him. So here we are with Ashcan Pete. So just a quick reminder, he is now practiced, he has Duke, and here he is with all of his tokens. He also already has a clue. So he is ready to go, and we will see what he actually does during the actual turn itself. So that is Pete. Next up, we have Vincent Lee. After spending a few days in Bombay, Dr. Vincent Lee decided it was time to move on. It had proved to be a very worthwhile journey. The autopsy had revealed another ruptured heart, and the death had been described in exactly the same detail as the one back home. Now he had a thread of information tying the two deaths together. Both victims had recently returned from Egypt, Giza to be more exact. So here we are with Vincent Lee, and we will see exactly what he does this turn later. But as you can see, he now has his skullduggery talent. He's got bandages, he's composed as well, so he's got another talent, so that's 2 talents. All of his tokens are here, and he is ready to rock and roll. So that is Vincent Lee. Next up is Bob Jenkins. Bob had been in London for a week. He'd enjoyed the voyage from New York, and the European leg of his trip had started very well. He had sold several orders and managed to persuade his bosses to extend the trip based on the business that he had already brought in. Even in his spare time, Bob had managed to score a few bargains. including a very nice coin collection that he'd bought off an old man on the Portobello Road this very morning. The wizened stall holder had a beautifully presented leather case, holding a score of gold coins. Each one was in perfect condition, and all appeared to be of different provenance and background. The old fellow professed no idea of the history of them, and was frankly giving them away. He dropped the asking price 3 times, and Bob wasn't even haggling. Bob made a lower offer still, and despite that, the man had shaken Bob's hand like he had just saved his life. The man promptly left the stall and its remaining wares right there in the street and hurried off whistling a tune. Bob had shrugged, put the coins in his case, and he figured that he'd pop to the British Museum later and get them checked out. So here we are with Bob. He's got all his tokens, he's got an extra clue, and he also has his talent now of visions. So he is ready to go as well. That's it for Bob. Let's see our final investigator, who is going to be Lily Chen. Lily needed to get back to the United States. She had absorbed all the training that the monks could give her, but the drive to get back home was overwhelming. Maybe she could put her training to good use there. And here we are with Lily. Right, put all the tokens in. She now has martial prowess. Not that she doesn't have it already. And she is ready to go. She's got protective amulet. She's got the lucky rabbit's foot. And she is ready to rock and roll, baby. As are all our investigators. So without further ado, let's get into turn 1 and the action phase. And here we are at the action phase with Ashcan Pete, and we've got a problem. Doug said, all right, what we'll do is we'll gain a focus and then we will move to space 13, which is just up there. But unfortunately, space 13 is not attached to space 14. The only way you can get to space 13 from space 14 is through Rome, London and up. There is no direct path between the two, so that's kiboshed Doug's plan somewhat. I'll hold my hands up, I should have checked, I didn't, I've been away for 2 weeks, and it's just struck me now, so we're going to have to work a way around it. So what we're going to do is, we're still going to have Ashcan Pete try and make it up there, but he's going to have to do it in a roundabout fashion. So how is he going to do it? Well, first of all, he's going to acquire assets. Got to remember, can't acquire assets in Rome because it is no longer a city space, it is just a devastated Rome. So that makes it a lot harder for us. What we could have done is obviously, one thing we could have done if Rome hadn't been devastated is just move to Rome and then prepare for travel and get a ship ticket. We cannot get a ship ticket in Rome anymore. It is no longer a city space. You can only prepare for travel in city spaces. So as you can see, we're in a lot of trouble already, and it's just our first go. So what we're going to do, he's going to acquire assets. Now he does have a special acquire assets sort of ability, but that is just for discarded assets. Nothing's been discarded yet, so he's not going to use that. He's just going to use a straight acquire assets. He's not brilliant at it, but you know, there's not a lot he can do because we're going to have to move him to Rome. Once he gets to Rome, he loses a lot of his abilities that he can use. We lose the city space abilities and actions that we could perform because it's no longer a city space. It's basically, we're in a lot of trouble. So he is going to acquire assets with his phenomenal 1. He just has 1 single dice. He gets a 2. So he doesn't manage to acquire anything, but what he can do is he can get rid of something. So he is going to get rid of Cat Burglar, which is pretty rubbish. So we're going to discard that, and we'll keep that at the side because we can always look through our discards. So I shall put that in a discard pile over here, and we will draw another asset. We'll give it a crap shuffle, and let's flip this over, and we get the medical journal, which costs 2. It's an item, it's a tome. You may re-roll 1 die when resolving a strength test as part of an illness or injury condition effect. When you perform a rest action, recover 1 additional health. So that's pretty good. So we'll put that there. That has replaced Cat Burglar, which we have gotten rid of. Coolness. Second action. What's he going to do? Well, he's going to use his component action, and that means he can actually move along a train track. So he can still move to roam along the train track, and he gets an extra action at the end of his move. One of the few things that he can do in the devastated roam is he can gain a focus, and that's what he's going to do. So he's gained a focus, which was one of the actions that Doug was going to do anyway. We managed to get rid of Cat Burglar and replace it with Medical Journal, but we are in Rome. That means we will have a devastation encounter, but at least we get to see the devastation encounters. Then what we'll have to do is move Ashcan slowly to space 13. It's not ideal. Apologies on my behalf and Doug's. We just didn't spot that space 14 to space 13 did not have a pathway between it. So that is it for Ashcan. Next up is Vincent Lee. And here we are with Vincent Lee. What's he going to do? Well, first of all, he is in a city space, so he is going to prepare for travel, and he's going to get a train ticket. Then he's going to do a travel action, and he's going to travel to Istanbul, where he's going to spend his train ticket. Having spent it, he will move on to the pyramids. Yes, he is going to try and do the expedition encounter. So that is it for Vincent Lee. Next up, it is Bob Jenkins. And here we are with Bob. So what's Bob going to do? Well, he's going to test his influence and try and acquire assets. Hopefully it'll do a bit better than Ashcan did. Now he has got a influence of 4, which is excellent. So 4, and he's also got his special ability, which means I've put the assets that are in the asset reserve up here just to make it easier. It means that all of these only cost 1. So come on Bob. Oh, 1 success, rubbish. But 1 success was the bare minimum that we wanted. In fact, we could take a bank loan. Shall I take a bank loan? We'll get a debt condition, but we'll get 2 additional successes. We will take a bank loan and make that 3. So let me just dig out the relative, it's this condition deck with all the deals and stuff in it. So we'll do this. And we want a debt condition. Promise of power? No. That pact? Definitely not. Definitely not. Funding. Agreement. Are there any debt conditions? Yes, there are. So we get a debt condition. So as a local action, we can test influence. So he's got pretty good influence. So we should be able to get rid of this, hopefully. If you pass, discard this card. So there we go. On a reckoning, some men have come to collect on your debt. Flip this card. Right. So he does have 2 extra successes. That's brilliant. We'll put that onto his player tray. And now we have 3 successes. Let's put them there. So he's got 3 successes. This means all these cost 1. So we'll take the personal assistant. The reason we want that is obviously because it'll give us an extra influence. Woohoo! And we'll be able to re-roll a die. Brilliant. Secondly, we will take the Otherworld Codex, because this should be useful as well. We gain +1 law and +1 will, which is excellent. And we play with the top gate in the stack revealed. So we'll do that in a moment. And for his last success, let's take those 3 away. Do we take the King James Bible? Let's have a read. You may re-roll 1 die when doing a will test during a combat encounter. When you perform a rest action, recover 1 additional sanity. You may re-roll 1 die. Well, these are the same, aren't they? Except one's for your sanity and one's for your health. So which one? I think his sanity's the worst. Just checking. Yes. So we'll keep the medical journal in there. We'll keep that in there. And he will take the King James's Bible. It's just because his sanity is a little worse than his stamina. So he's took the Otherworld Codex, the Personal Assistant and the King James's Bible, and he has also took a bank loan and has a debt condition. But that means we have to pick 3 more assets. So let's just do that. Remember, this is still his first action, so we've still got a bit to do. We'll give them a rubbish shuffle. And a cut. Go on, get in. The cut. There we go. Down there. That on top. And our first replacement is Security Squad. Cost 2. It's an ally. When resolving a combat encounter, you may resolve an influence test instead of the strength test using the same test modifier. Again, that would be really good for Bob. So we'll put that down. Next up is Delivery Service. Cost of 1. Service Teamwork. When you gain this card, immediately give any number of item possessions to another investigator on any space, then discard this card. That will be really good as well, especially for Bob, because he's going to be picking up most of the assets. So we've done really well, even though we did a crap roll. What have we got? Curiosity Shop. I think this is another good one as well. Service. When you gain this card, immediately gain 1 artifact, then discard this card. Brilliant. So, despite having a bit of a ropey start to the turn, with not knowing where we could go with our investigators, and also some pretty crap rolling, we've done okay, I think. We do have a debt condition, but we've got some good stuff into the reserve, which is excellent. Let me get rid of that. Good, good, good. So that was Bob. That was his first action. Acquire assets. He got some very good assets. And he has a debt condition. He's got a second action. What's he going to do for his second action? He is going to gain a focus. Always a favourite. So Bob has a focus as well. Can always use a reroll. Perhaps I should have got the focus first, and then I could have re-rolled on the acquire assets, but, you know, I think it's worked out okay anyway. Right, so that is it for Bob. That means we have 1 investigator left in the action phase, and that is Lily Chen. Let's get across to Shanghai. And here we are with Lily Chen. And globe-trotting is the order of the day for Lily Chen. Yes, what we've got to do is we've got to pick up some clues in order to solve this mystery. We've already had a bit of a problem with Ashcan Pete, in that he's going to take a bit longer to get there than he thought. The other clue, however, is in the wilds of northern Canada. How are we going to get there? Well, Lily is going to try and get there. First thing she's going to do is she's in Shanghai, which does have a sea route, so she's going to prepare for travel by getting herself a ship ticket. Then she is actually going to travel for her second action, and she's going to take the train up here to Vladivostok, or wherever the hell it is. Once she's there, she's going to spend her ship ticket, and she's going to go along that little sea lane there. Excellent. Where's that going to take her? Well, it's going to take her to the other side of the board. So let's get over there. And here we are at the other side of the board, which is Space 1, Anchorage. So there you go. She's now within touching distance of that clue there, which is more that can be said than for Ashcan, unfortunately. So there we go. That is the end of her action phase. It's the end of the investigator's action phase. Next up will be the encounter phase. And here we are at the encounter phase. First things first, I forgot, when actually Bob got the Otherworld Codex, we could flip the gate over. So we'll do that now, and we'll see what gate could possibly come up. And it's Sydney. That's not too good. It's going to be another Southern Hemisphere gate, and obviously all these guys are in the Northern Hemisphere. That is a problem. Mysteries win this game, solving mysteries. Gates aren't as important as they are in Arkham Horror, but they're second most important in my opinion. So mysteries are the thing, gates a second. You cannot let gates get out of hand. We've got one on the board. If we get a mythos card that says, you know, spawn a gate, then we're going to get a gate in Sydney, and that's going to be bad news. So what we've got to do is keep an eye on these. So as it stands, it's the start of the game, but we could have done with getting a gate up here somewhere. But unfortunately, it's going to go down here. It's not been placed yet, but it is there on the launch pad. Right, having done that, next up we have our encounter phase proper. So it is Ashcan Pete, who is on Rome. There is only one sort of encounter that he can have now, and that's a devastation encounter, but at least we'll get to see a new deck. So here we are. Let's give it a quick shuffle. There we go, and we'll give it a cut, and then we'll see what he is going to do. Righto. A cult has established itself in the ruins of the city and is terrorising those survivors who remain. Resolve the pass effect to convince the survivors to defend themselves, or resolve the fail effect to infiltrate the cult. Right, I'm going to turn that over a second while I have a think. That convince, that is going to be... The convince part is going to be a influence check, isn't it? And his influence is 1, so we're going to have to do the fail effect, right? Just had to think of that without reading, because that's the way I play the game. So let's flick it. We're going for the fail effect. The cult will not accept you unless you establish your arcane knowledge, which is a law -1 check, which probably isn't much better, to be honest. His law is... oh, it's 3. So that's 2. He's got a clue. He's also got, let's get this over here. He's got a clue. He's also got a focus. And he has his practiced condition. So let's just read that. So he's currently on 2 dice. Once per round, you may roll 1 additional die. Excellent. So that'll be up to 3 dice. And re-roll up to 1 die when resolving a test. If you fail that test, flip this card. So we're going to roll 3 dice, because he's using his practice condition. So 1, 2, 3, and we've got a bunch of re-rolls. Come on, Ashcan. Oh, 2 4s and a 1. Rubbish. Right, this is going to be a bad roll there, I can tell. Right, so we'll use the re-roll off practiced. A 2, that's no good. We will use his focus token. Oh no, and we'll use his clue. God, this is just rubbish. A 6. So we had to, unfortunately, we had to spend a clue and we had to spend a focus token. But we didn't fail, thankfully. So let's discard that. Oh, God. Right, so that was horrendous. So we passed that. Just got to check practiced. Check. It says if you fail that test, but we didn't fail it. We ended up passing it. So, just about. Come on. If you pass, you sabotage the cultists and steal one of their prized possessions. Gain an artifact. Woohoo! Top banana. Right, we get an artifact. Let's get the deck. Oh! So, I think that was worth losing a clue for. But it was a good job we got that practice condition, because we needed all our re-rolls there. And the artifact we get is a fetch stick. Item, magical weapon. Gain +6 combat during combat encounters. If you defeat a monster during a combat encounter, gain a clue. So that's pretty good. So that'll be very useful for Pete. Woohoo! Let me put this deck back. So yes, I think that was a good call using all of those re-rolls we had. Put that back. Okay. Right, so that is Pete. He's done very well. He's got himself an artifact. Who is next? It is our friend here. It is Vincent Lee, who still looks like a very young Stephen King to me. Right, expedition encounter. Woohoo! So let's get the expedition deck. Where is it? Where did I put it? Over here, and there it is. So, we'll flip this over. And, well, first of all, we're going to use that. What's next? Is that Shanghai? It is Shanghai. So we'll move that across to Shanghai. So Shanghai will be next. Put that back. And let's see what the expedition encounter at the pyramids is. Right. Bandits tie your hands and blindfold you. They lower you into the catacombs deep under the pyramids and leave you there to die. You try to free yourself from your bonds, so we've got to test strength. His strength is a measly 2. Let's see if any of his talents help. He's got composed. When resolving a test, if you do not re-roll any 1s, you may re-roll all of your dice. Right, good. And he's also got skullduggery. Oh, that is the test observation, isn't it? So that's not going to help. But composed is, he's got 2 dice to roll. Come on. We need a success. And we got 6. Woo! So he's passed, that's brilliant. We've got 6 to one side. So let's read the pass condition. You see now that you are in the temple of the Sphinx. Retreat Doom by 1. Awesome. So Doom goes back to 16. I love it. You use your knowledge of Egyptology to find an exit. Test law. So we've got another test. So good job we kept that 6 to one side. And his law is a crappy 1. But he's still got his composed condition. Right, come on. He doesn't have a clue or anything either. Come on! A 3. Rubbish. Oh, we didn't roll a 1 though, so because it's composed, we'll have to flip the card if this doesn't work. A 4, it didn't work. Right, let's get the composed condition. So unfortunately, it didn't work. If you fail the test, flip this card. Although your composure in the face of the unknown is Olympian, the fabric of reality and reason are being stretched to their limits, and it is taking a toll. With your companions constantly looking to you for guidance, you feel yourself beginning to slip. Resolve 1 effect of your choice. Lose 1 sanity, then flip this card. Recover all your sanity, then discard this card. Well, we'll just lose a sanity. So, that's not too bad. At least we know what happens when we fail with that now. He goes down to 5 sanity. Bit of a downer, but never mind. But the worst thing is this pyramid thing. If you fail, you wake up with no memory of how you escaped. Gain an amnesia condition. Damn it! And we didn't get any sort of like artifact or anything. It's a good job Pete got one. So, rubbish. Right, amnesia condition. Let's find one of those. Here we are. It is in the Madness deck. This is bad news, getting this condition so early. Let's just check his special abilities actually. Leave that there, shuffle. No, doesn't help him. So, of course he's a doctor, isn't he? So he'd have to be a psychiatrist to have a special ability to help him in that regard. Right, so first amnesia condition. That's hunger, terror, paranoia, amnesia. When you perform a rest action, you may roll 1 die and a 5 or 6, discard this card. And when we get a reckoning, we have to test will. Dun, dun, dun. Right, we'll put that on his player tray. So, unfortunately, things didn't go too well for Vincent. Although we did manage to knock the Doom back 1. So, that's something at least. Okay, after Vincent, who is next? It is Bob Jenkins, and he's in London. You're up, Bob. Well, Bob is just going to have a normal London encounter, which is an orange deck. And he's looking to, obviously, generate some clues, because we need some clues for this mystery. See what we get. London. A patient suffering from the sleepy sickness wakes up and begins to tell you her dreams. Gain 1 clue. Oh, what a clue putting out on the board. Not just to gain 1, but it's better than nothing. So we've got a clue. Whoop. That one will do. So 2 clues for Bob. Let's carry on. You try to ascribe a deeper meaning to the things that she describes. Test law. Don't think his law is his strong suit, to be honest. Let's have a look at him. His law is 3 because he does have the Otherworld Codex, so that gives him +1. So he's got a law of 3. And he's got visions as well. You may re-roll 1 die when resolving a law test. Good, good. Oh, he's also, because he's got visions, once per round when another investigator gains an uncommon condition, you may look at the back of that card. So he's going to have a look at the back of the amnesia card. Woohoo! The terrible truth. Suddenly the terrible memories of the profane ritual return to you. How merciful your mind had been to forget your horrible deeds. Now that you remember the truth, you know you will soon have to hold up your end of the bargain, gain a dark pact condition, then discard this card. We have got to get rid of this card quickly. So, it's good that Bob has had a vision of the amnesia that Dr. Vincent has got. We need to get rid of this card. Oh, dark pact. Oh, right. Anyway, visions means he does get a re-roll. So that's 3 law. And he will get a re-roll. But we've been rolling rubbish. And I've dropped a die. So 1, 2, 3. Come on, Bob. It's not a minus, is it? No, it's just a straight law test. Oh, this is just rubbish, man. Where's me? Somebody's changed me dice. So we get a re-roll. I'll pick another die. Go on. Come on. No, fail. We've just failed a load of dies. I hope all you people who say I'm just dead jammy are watching this. If you fail, the disturbing images haunt you and ruin your sleep. Lose 1 health and sanity. So we got a clue, but it cost us 1 health and sanity. Damn it. But let me just check, see if there's anything that gets him out of that. No. He does have the King James's Bible, so when he performs a rest action he would get an additional sanity. But as it is, he's down to 6 health and 4 sanity. That's a bit of a blow. So this is an absolutely appalling encounter phase so far. Right, so that's it for Bob. That means it's Lily Chen. So, what's Lily going to do in her encounter phase? She's going to do a generic city encounter, I think. So let's get the generic deck. Hold it the right way up for a start, that would help. And... okay, city. The city finds you for damages caused by your investigation. So that is influence -1. What's her influence? It is 2. So she's going to have 1 die. But she does have a re-roll from her lucky rabbit's foot. A 3 and lucky rabbit's foot re-roll. 5. Yes! At last! We succeeded! If you pass, the payment earns you a lot of goodwill and the mayor offers to mentor you. Gain 1 focus and 1 talent condition. Woohoo! Baby! 1 focus and 1 talent condition. Let's get the talent condition. Here they all are. First one off the bottom is righteous as a boon, studious. Test will -1. If you pass, improve 1 skill of your choice. Then flip this card. Excellent. So she is also studious. And let us get that focus token. Will not be a moment. So Lily Chen is showing us how it's done. I hope you are watching, boys. Okay, right. So that is it for the encounter phase. That means that next up, oh yes, it's the laugh and chuckle phase. And here we are at the laugh and chuckle phase. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, right. So let's pick a Mythos card. And we get a bloody rumour. Damn it! But we knew we were going to get 2. We're going to get 2 in the first 4 cards, whatever. So we've started with a rumour, which is bad. But at least we get some clues. We do get 2 clues on the board. Remember, we need clues on the board so we can pick them up. Hopefully they'll go into accessible places. So we get 2 clues. The first clue goes to... where's it going? Space 3, Southern Hemisphere, South Atlantic. Yes, we're just on the wrong half of the world. And the second clue goes to... ooh, where's that? 10. That is here, at least. Oh, at least Vincent could get there, couldn't he? Or Ashcan Pete. But we do need somebody to get up to space 13. Right, so we got 1 good draw there. But let's get on with this crappy rumour. So we need 3 Eldritch tokens. Bear with me. Dig them out. 1, 2, 3. So we've got 3 of those. You wake with a start, shaking and feverish. The dream had been so real. You were in some other place, some impossible place, and your enemy was there. You are certain that this vision holds a key to preventing the world's imminent destruction. Nightmarish dreams, ongoing rumour. When an investigator performs a rest action, he may spend 1 clue to place 1 clue on this card. Then, if there are clues on this card equal to half the investigators, solve this rumour. This is okay, I think. We only need 2 clues. When there are no Eldritch tokens on this card, discard all gates on the game board and advance Doom to 0, i.e. Shoot Mel wakes up, then solve this rumour. Okay, so on a reckoning you discard an Eldritch token. We've only got 3, but I think we've got enough clues to do it. Because, let's just check the player trays. Yeah, Bob. Bob has got 2 clues. Unfortunately, Ashcan Pete lost 1, but Bob does have 2 clues. He can rest next turn, put 1 clue on, and then the turn after he can rest as well and put a clue on. Remember, he did lose some health and sanity as well, so rest anyway. I'm not planning to move him from London because I want him to generate clues. Hopefully a bit nearer than these ones have been, because we need to do some research encounters to help solve our mystery. Right, so that is the Mythos phase. So we didn't get another gate. We know it's coming to Sydney. We have got some yellow cards coming up, so they will generate a gate. So if we're unlucky, we might get 2 rumours in a row. But we are going to get at least 2 gates in the first 4 cards. So one of those is going to go to Sydney. So we might have to send somebody south, actually. So somebody's going to have to deal with those. Unfortunately, I was hoping we could sort of like ignore this and close other gates. But if there's a load of other gates going in the Southern Hemisphere as well as a load of clues, we may as well send somebody down there. Yes, right, so that could have been worse. It's not brilliant, but it could have been a lot worse. Let's put this in a card holder and find somewhere to put it. Yes, so not a good turn. I didn't roll very well at all, and that is going to cause us all sorts of problems, I think. We're not really getting anywhere towards solving this rumour. We're nowhere near one of these research clues. We did get an artifact, that was good. We did knock Doom back, that was good. Hopefully next turn we'll have Lily Chen being able to get to this clue, and either Vincent or Ashcan Pete will be able to get to that clue there. So we might get a couple of clues on the mystery if we're lucky. We need 4 clues on the mystery, I think. We can rest, get a clue on here, courtesy of Bob, and yeah, I think we'll get one at Pete or somebody, try and get them up towards space 13, and then we may be able to get another clue on that mystery at some point. I'll just put that there. And we need those as well, don't we? Put them there. Right. Yes, so we got a rumour first turn up. Not a great turn, but we did well on the assets. We got Fetch Stick, which is a good artifact. We knocked the Doom back. So perhaps it wasn't as bad. But I think it could have been a lot better. My rolling was rubbish. Got this bloody ghast in Antarctica, but it's okay at the moment. It'll just get a big problem once Sydney comes out onto the board. Right, so that is it for turn 1. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you will stay for turn 2. As ever, if you've noticed any mistakes, please let me know. If you've got any tactical ideas, or, you know, anything from left field as regards what we should do, by all means put it in the old comments down here and we will take a good look at it. So hopefully we will be back in a couple of days to do turn 2. I do hope that you join me, but until then, this is me, Catweazle, signing off. Toodaloo.